Hi, I'm Simon from Painting in France, and as you know, here in France there's quite a lockdown now. I'm not going to be able to paint on plein air. In fact, the only time we can get out is a short walk with the dog in the morning. What I've noticed, of course, is spring is in the air, and I'm going to try and do a painting as often as I can of scenes that I've seen out on these walks, starting with a painting of the irises we've just seen coming into bloom now. I've got some photographs and some reference material, and I'm going to have a go at doing a painting, and we'll try and capture that on video for you. So let's get started. Okay, so I've got the drawing finished. I've used quite a sharp HB mechanical pencil to give a cleaner line. I felt the 2B was a little bit too soft. And what I'm doing now is I've mixed some cobalt blue and cerulean blue, and I'm just washing that in the background. I want to give a little hint of sky and distant greenery to set the scene, if you like. I think it's gone a little bit streaky. The cobalt blue tends to be a little grainy, so I'm just kind of dabbing that back with a bit of fresh water and tissue. Just adding some greenery, a little bit of sap green, of course. Very sort of lightly splashed on with a hint of grass in the foreground. I just felt this was more important than doing the complete scene with all the bushes and so on in the background. Now I've mixed a kind of watery mix of, I think it's the Quinacridone magenta. I'll get that right one day. And I'm just putting a base layer on, so not too dark. I'm just kind of washing that in, and going back to that photograph in the top left hand corner, just sort of wiping that the highlights away as well. I'm going to let this dry, and then eventually I'll put a stronger colour in. So I've now intensified the colour a bit more paint into the mix, and I'm putting in some stronger contrasting shapes. See how putting that sort of darker area in there just makes the petal stand out in the foreground. A little bit under the lower edge as well. And then what I'll do, before that dries, I'll rinse my brush, dab it on the tissue paper, and just wipe that in, so it kind of just blends it a little bit, keeping the light areas there so you've got the contrast. I do like these brushes. You've got a nice range from kind of big flat brush stroke to some very fine details. I've now added even dark, while it's still damp, you see I added some darker tones in there, and it just kind of bleeds in quite a sort of natural effect. Now I'm going to put some more tone in all over, just strengthening that overall shaping. Some big bold brush strokes. Wash the brush out and just blend that in here and there, and I'll probably go back and lighten it up a little later on. Just add a little bit of ultramarine blue to the mix as well this time. I'll put a list of the colours I've used below, so you can check those out. So once that layer's gone on, I'll let that dry a little bit and come back in again. Once again, a slightly stronger mix, that magenta with some ultramarine mixed in. Dry it on the piece of paper first just to check the strength and colour, and then add that in. So you can see it's slowly building up that shape. Rinsing it out, dab it on the brush, dab it on the tissue paper, and then just blend that out again. Really helping to increase the contrast. At this stage you can add just the fine lines on the petals as well. bit more wiping away with the damp brush. And then the next layer of intensity, always sort of keeping a lighter layer beneath, just to kind of help create the contours of the flower. It's been quite interesting because I don't normally do flowers. I'm more of a landscape kind of man myself, but it's been a good experience, good challenge, good techniques to retry. I mean, I think the important thing is to keep that light and dark to increase the shape of the plant. Nice bold flicks here and there. So now I'm pretty happy with the way the actual iris is working out. So having let the edges dry, I'm going to go down into the greenery now, which is working, yeah, pale to begin with. I've got a very kind of a light mix of, I think it's a sap green, and I've got a kind of cadmium lemon here as well. That just gives that sort of quite fresh colour. Paint that on first, and then once that dries, I'll intensify the mix of the colours, so adding a little bit more paint to the mix, making it stronger, and flicking that extra tone in, and once again with a damp brush on the tissue, just blending it here and there. So I'm now actually going to go back now and try to increase the highlights with a damp brush, just actually agitating the paper and dabbing it with a tissue. It just helps to bring the paint off, and you can get that illusion of a soft highlight. And the kind of final details, I'm just mixing that magenta and blue again, and dabbing in just a couple little intense colours here and there, just as a final contrast. A bit more shadow here and there. So you can see it's all about the blending as well. Don't add water straight onto the picture, just dab that brush, so it's a damp, clean brush, and you can soften those shapes in. So yeah, I think it's worked out nicely. I hope you've enjoyed doing this video, and please subscribe, and I'll keep in touch with new videos coming up.